Hello Linux fans, Rob here and welcome to Linux Quest. Well, it's been several weeks since my last video. Had 2 weeks of a lot of work and life things going on, and then we're dealing with a hurricane here on the East Coast, Eastern Seaboard. Here in Western North Carolina, it's primarily just rain and a little wind. But the folks on the East Coast of North Carolina, South Carolina, you know, thoughts and prayers go out to you. Well wishes there. There have been several deaths, lots of flooding, lots of debris, very high winds. And so we just wish you folks on the Eastern Seaboard of North and South Carolina best wishes there. All right, so moving on here, I was into the first part of a new WPS Office review roughly 2 weeks ago. I had started. And I was a little disappointed because the Linux version, which we're going to take a look at here, had not been updated in a long time. However, it's still a very nice Office suite. Well, there have been updates, or an update to several areas here, and so I want to step through and take a look at those. Before we do, I just want to mention to you that WPS, if you've never seen this before, it's a Chinese Office suite, and I decided to load this up on the latest Deepin OS, which is also a Chinese distribution. And so by default, you're going to get WPS Office as opposed to the usual WPS, or excuse me, as opposed to the usual LibreOffice. So that update does occur within Deepin OS if this is something you're wanting to try. And I believe it's also been updated within Ubuntu. Just jump over a few things here. First of all, they have several different versions of this product. It's cross-platform, so it works on your Windows PC, iOS, Android, as well, of course, as Linux. So you've got a couple different options. You've got Premium, Professional for education. They also have PDF to Word, and then you see Office for Android. Now, some time ago, we're going to go ahead and jump over to Office for Linux. Now, they have a free version, and I believe you wind up with ads in the free version. Now, within Linux, so far I haven't seen any ads or anything. It's just been totally free. And so we're going to jump over to that and go ahead to the Linux community. Now, you can find this also within your repo, and we're going to go to Get It Now, and we'll read through the full list here of changes. So this was very recent here, 9/11. 2018, and you can get your DEB right here for AMD 64 or 32-bit. There's also an RPM as well as a TAR file. Again, if you're on Deepin, you will get this latest update to version, let's see if they're going to list the version, yeah, right here, version 10.1.06757. Pretty good list here of updates. One of the things that really stands out to me is the launch speed. So you'll see that here in just a minute. I mean, it's blindingly fast compared to what it was before. Or maybe I had a bad install or something, but the previous version seemed to take a while, and here it's noticeably quicker. All right, so you've got support users for online feedback, support for Chinese and English language switching. WPS Writer presentation is now supporting 15 smart art types, or editing of the smart art types, custom quick access toolbar support, text support, printing background color pictures and settings in the web format of the background, automatic text collection, artistic page borders, accept or reject format revisions, support to keep the source format paste within process, and new pivot table kernel supports grouping, calculation items, calculation fields, table styles, slicer, and other functions, support for pivotal chart, automatic filtering, color sorting, monochrome printing, sharing a workbook, print the entire workbook, digital format, supports for local, custom views, support to read and play the animation of Smart Art Child nodes, not sure what that is. I haven't used that. Support for font preview function. Combine audio and background music entry. Add audio tools tab and adjust media object toolbar. Support batch delete remark function. And in the comments pane of the speaker view, you can add the zoom button and adjust the text size. I would assume that's for presentation. And number 25 on the list is support to insert media embedded into documents through the interface entrance. So pretty good lineup there. So jump on over here to WPS. So you get it, Writer, Presentation, and Spreadsheets. Makes sense. We'll launch into Writer. See how fast that is. The previous version was not that fast, or I've lost my mind, one or the other. Probably both. I've probably lost my mind and it wasn't that fast. Nevertheless, you've got some theming going on here. This is like the light blue. We'll jump up here real quick and you can see you've got white, elegant black, water blue, and classic style if you really want this to look more like the old version of Microsoft Office. Now you can't help but notice you've got a ribbon UI in place here with your main tabs or categories up top here. You've got Home, Insert, Page Layout, References, Review, View, and Section. And they've got a little mini toolbar down here as opposed to up here, which is what you're used to seeing in Microsoft Office. Now, with any Office suite, and in Linux we've got several good choices. LibreOffice is the standout, the one you see the most, and they have this ribbon UI as well. However, I don't think it's anywhere near as nice looking and as polished as this is. Plus, the flow of this almost is a copy of Microsoft Office. And let's face it, there are millions and millions of Microsoft Office users out there. And if you're in the corporate world, you've got to interact with those documents from time to time. So the key thing is formatting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over here and I'm going to go to Open. And I created this within my Office 365 work account and lost the word account there. Don't lose the word account in your vocabulary. You're going to need it one day. So anyway, so I formatted this, added this photo, opened it up within WPS here, and it held everything in place. The photo stayed where it needed to be. Now this is a pretty simple document. The one thing that didn't update was the font, because you will not find every font, and in fact I installed the Arial font. Now within Deepin, if you'll go in, you'll find that a font installer is in place. If you type font, you'll see the Deepin font installer. Now you can actually download font exes, extract them into a file, and then simply go in and select that file from here and install it. So here you'll see arial.ttf, and you could install the other fonts that you may, Tahoma or whatever other font you require to be compatible. In this case, I just want to give the example of Arial, so there it is. And Deepin makes it really easy to install this. So let's start here with Home. You're going to see a lot of familiarity. Pause. You're going to see a lot of things that are going to look familiar to you as far as the flow goes. So cut, copy, format painter. You've got your font options here. And we'll scroll on down. Nice big selection. Quick access to font size and font formatting. Then you get into other formatting such as alignment of your text, bullet list. So we could add that. You see that that was in place there. And let's go ahead and undo that. So undo, redo in place right down here. I'll tell you what, let's take this out. We'll just kind of pop through a few things here. So let's go ahead and center this. So if we want that centered, it works just as it should. And again, the flow of this, you're going to pull muscle memory right from Microsoft Office because it's copied as close as I think you could get. You could set up new styles, but you have font styles here in a long list so you can see what everything looks like. Selection tool there, and settings for the font paragraph. So if you go in here, you'll have your spacing options, alignment options, all right where, if you've ever used Office, it feels like it should be. Probably going to say that too much during this video, but it's true. It's really true. Now if we go over here to insert, again, you'll have everything you need. To me, just going from memory here with Word, every option and maybe then some is in place here for a full Word suite. So you've got page breaks, page blank. You could insert a table. So let's go ahead and select a table here to insert. So it immediately popped up another page. We'll go ahead and undo that. Pictures, and you can do that from File. So we could go in here and choose a photo. Let's find something interesting here, And there you go. So we'll go ahead and then from there, look at this. Immediately, you're going to pop up and get picture tools, just as you should, because the photo's highlighted. We're going to go ahead and undo that, but you've got crop. So let's see how cropping works, just as it should. Bam, right there. So we'll go ahead and undo that and step back. And you'll notice things are happening really quick within this program. Now you've got all the built-in shapes, and I think you've got everything you would find within Microsoft Word, and maybe a few additions here. Smart Art is certainly available for flowcharts and things like that. Header, footer, watermark, comment, text box. And this is, this is an area here. You say text box. Okay, sure, it's a word editor. Surely it's got text box. Well, yeah, it does, but it's also easy to maneuver, and that's not always the case with some of the other offerings within Linux. Yes, you can insert a text box with any Office app I've ever used within Linux, but let's see here, text box. But one of the things that, and it's simple, but one of the things I've noticed with some of the other apps is you don't get all of the, after you've entered your text and things like that, you don't get all of the options for editing quite as easy as you do here. So that was just one of the things that stood out to me. So, if you don't want to show, for example, the border, you'll see it here under Drawing Tools or Text Outline. You could change that right there. Everything kind of pops up as it should. So let's go here to outlines. If you don't want an outline, simply choose here, no outline. So you get the idea, but you can jump right back in. This is just not always the case with every Office suite as far as ease of use is concerned, in my experience. Let's go over to Insert. Again, we'll continue on here. Text box, Word Art, Symbols, Drop Cap, Date and Time, Quick Parts. I don't know what that is, never used that. And then you've got a grouping over here after the Reference, Bookmark, and Hyperlink tab. And this is all for form fields, I believe. So kind of a small grouping. Now if we right click anywhere here, we don't get any options. And that's the same with any of these tabs within the ribbon interface. We'll move on to page layout, and I've got to kind of bounce through this quickly, otherwise this will be an extremely long video because there's so much to look at here. But you'll notice here some themes, color themes, so a lot of these will look familiar to you. You can change those colors within the themes. Font listing here again, any effects. I never even used these effects and did not know that these were in place here. Everything to do with margin, orientation, size, columns, text direction, line breaks, it's all right here, page color, borders. Let's go on here for reference, so you can insert footnote, previous footnote, insert talk, endnote, cross-reference. I'm just kind of glancing through everything here. Under review, you've got Spellcheck. You can set your language for that, and I think you'll find Chinese or English there, word count. And here we have, this is one of the new features, convert to simplified Chinese. So you could do that conversion there. Track changes, review pane, restrict editing, all right there. And then under view, you've got your full screen, your print layout, your online layout. So we'll go back. And once you see that, you've got outline here, and then all your options for outline as you should. So that's going to pop up. We'll go ahead and click off of that. Table grid lines, navigation pane right there, task window, grid lines, ruler, one page layout, and then section. So here you can handle the orientation, the columns, cover pages, split section. And again, limited testing here, but the formatting that you get from Microsoft Word over to this seems to be as good or maybe a little better than some of the other Office suites, and that's with limited testing. I'm going to spend more time kind of putting it through its paces, but I think for the most part it does just as good a job as anything else you're going to find in Linux, especially for something as polished as this is. I got to say, this looks extremely professional compared to the mixed cases you get with the ribbon UI of some other Office suites. I think this strikes a really, really good balance. All right, we'll pop in. Nope, we're not going to save you. We're going to pop in and look at presentation real fast. And here again under insert, you're going to get some of the same features you would find within Word, but you're going to get some additions like audio, movie, and flash. Let's go over to design. So you're going to see some base templates here for background, and you can go in and change all of that. Obviously, you can change your background color here, so you'll get a little pop-up over here for solid, gradient, things like that. Or you can get a drop down for other options. Go right to color with your list of all the different color layouts, slide layout, and again all the basic functions you need here, with then a page setup where you could go in and choose everything from widescreen to different paper sizes, A4, A3, so portrait, landscape, so everything you need here to adjust the size of your slide and everything. And then slide size, so 4:3, 16:9 for quick access. Oops. Ensure fit. And then we'll go to animation. So I think you're going to find a healthy list of animations here. And I'm not sure that this covers everything that you would find within PowerPoint, but it looks pretty close. Then if you go into slideshow, you're going to be able, and again this flows just almost identical to PowerPoint, from beginning, from current slide, custom slideshows, set up shows, so you could set up presented by speaker, kiosk, loop continuously, things like that. Speaker notes, hide slides, so we could go over to speaker notes right there. Go ahead and close this out. You'll see more of this, slide transition, and then review. Spell check again, also the ability to convert to Chinese from here, add comments, delete comments, and then view. So you can set up for your different slides that you have in place. Notes page, reading view, slide master, ruler, grid lines, task window, there we go, on or off, zoom, arrange all, and new window. So you see the little drop down arrow here. This is where you would go in for quick launch, and this is within Word. It's all very consistent. That's another area where they've done, I think, a very nice job, is everything is consistent from one app to the next, from Presenter to to Word, for example. So again, very consistent. Now that's interesting. I've never noticed that you can change the individual theming from one part of the app to the next. All right, up next is Spreadsheets. Now I'm not a huge spreadsheet user. However, I know many of you work with spreadsheets, and the key thing for you is to make sure you've got everything that that you're going to use in a spreadsheet app, all of your formulas. So here you have auto sum, sum, average, count, max, min, recently used, all, and then categorized here you've got financial. So we'll take a quick look at that, and I'll scroll through. Maybe there's one here that you have to have, and if it's not here, what good is it to you? So you've got logical here, text. Let's see what we got under text. All right, come on now. Let's see here. Date and time. Look up and reference. Math and trig, that's a big one. And more functions. Engineering. So let's scroll down through engineering. So looks to be pretty full featured as far as your formulas. All right, we'll start back from home. And again, you're going to have here some familiar layout and some familiar flow. You can format your table, conditional formatting, sorting, rows and columns, so you can set up all the different sizes, set up the worksheet, protect the worksheet, rename, change your tab colors. So we could pop in here, for example. So without getting into much more length on this video, I will say that there's consistency here for any of the three programs, Writer, Presenter, or Spreadsheets, for creating your new, in this case, workbook, or within Writer it would be document, and of course Presenter would be presentation. Open and existing, save, or save as. And here's where we get into some compatibility. And I didn't want to miss this part, but here you can save for the Microsoft Excel format, which is XLS, or Excel template even, which is XLT. Then you also have the WPS format, which in this case is ET or ETT. And then you have Microsoft Excel Files, which is XLSX. And then if we go to other formats, you've got some options here under Workbook. Now, for many of you, the open format is the one you're going to be interested in, and that's not listed here. You do have DBase files, general text, CSV, which is what you see a lot of. A lot of support for, should I say. But as far as compatibility, I think you've got enough options for Microsoft Office if that's more of what you're looking for. And then we'll go back up. And again, you'll get this drop down, be it writer or presenter. You also have the export to PDF option, print to, file information, backup management, help. So you've got spreadsheet help, or you could go right to the home page from here. BBS, the Office Community, and then About, where you'll see the file version. And then you've got a list of options here, and you could change your quick access toolbar, this area right here, of course. And again, you'll find that within any of the 3 apps, or exit out from there. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. I've run a long time with this. Needless to say, I'm happy with the speed here and what I'm seeing within WPS with the updates. I would like to see more activity as time goes. There was a long lapse of time for the Linux version, but I think as far as the Windows iOS version, there have been more frequent updates, and definitely will check out the Android version as well and just kind of see how it compares. But I'm happy to see this. I'm very happy with the speed, and I think this is a very good option for us Linux users, and it's free. Try it out, see how it works for you. It's not going to cost you anything but a little time to get it set up and installed, and you might be surprised. Well, I hope this video was helpful. If you like what you saw here, give it a thumbs up. And you can feel free to share your thoughts within the comments down below. As always, thanks for watching, and we will check you later.